It's the movie where the actor and director broke their whole hand, 2 broken toes, they tore their shoulder, and they also got an eye infection during the process of filming this movie. That's right, it is The Monkey Man. We've seen it, let's talk about it. So The Monkey Man stars Dev Patel, who also directs it. It's his first movie he's ever directed, and essentially follows a young man who has some very serious childhood trauma and goes on this whole revenge plan to take down this corrupt society that kind of took everything from him. This movie is absolutely brutal. Nam, we'll start off with Dev Patel in his starring and directing role. How did you find him being in the director's chair and his performance overall in the movie?
Yeah, he literally put his body on the line for this film, eh?
Literally, yeah.
All those injuries and still powering through. He's a trooper, that guy. But no, it's a fantastic director debut. You know, he's up there with, you know, the likes of Bradley Cooper in terms of nailing it out of the park first go.
Yeah.
He seemed to have incorporated his Indian roots. He's Indian, and this film is very heavily relied on that culture, and not in terms of the actor as well, but the city and where it's placed and the themes that it takes from that as well. So it's nice to see that he, you know, incorporated what he grew up with into his first film, making it a little bit more comfortable for him to make the direction. And his acting as well is absolutely fantastic. He's a great actor, and the fact that he could pull this off, both acting and directing, is awesome. You know, like, you could just really feel his trauma with his past and his anger and his happiness and sadness and everything. So, and you could actually probably could see when he actually broke all those bones as well.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, this movie is absolutely ruthless. I'm very much like you on the same opinion about Dev Patel. What he's done here is just an absolute phenomenal job. One, it's his first time directing, and that's hard enough to really nail altogether. I think he still has a bit of a way to go when it comes to, you know, structure and pacing. I found those a little bit inconsistent throughout the movie, but he's a natural-born action director. Like, the action is really, really good here.
Hell yeah.
And it's shot so well. I also think he can do a little bit better of bringing better performances from his actors rather than just himself. But he pulls a great performance from himself, man. Like, you can tell when this guy's like about to snap, about to break. He's got like twitches in his face, you know, his hands shaking. Yeah. It's really well done, and he's, you know, an Oscar caliber actor, and to see him put that performance into this is just really it's something that's really nice to behold, because the action genre is something that's neglected quite a bit. You know, we have stuff like The Raid, stuff like John Wick really helping it, Mission Impossible as well. But this is another one where, you know, you can really add on to it. You know, a big part of directing is really the technical side of it. And this one, I think it's got some nice flashy moments. How did you find, you know, the technical side of it? Cinematography, production design, all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic, you know. You could tell that, and it is referenced in the film, I saw that this film took a page out of John Wick's book, but to a lesser degree. Yeah. And Dev Patel did a great job of incorporating that, but also making it so different as well. There's so many interesting camera work and stuff like that, like whether it's him rolling around in a ring and the camera literally rolling with him. Yeah. Compared to like a little, it seemed like as if the camera was on like a little swing thing.
Oh, that one's cool.
Just partying on the street, and the camera was just doing this while they were partying. It was just insane. So there's some really that's just two. There's so much more on that as well, especially the way it captures lighting as well. So those are two really creative shots in the film that first springs to my mind. You also have creative shots of like him in an elevator, and then the doors open, it's all dark, but it's just the red illumination from the elevator. It's just him in it. You got this stuff where it's really close up on his hands, as you mentioned before, of him shaking, just like suddenly like coming to like getting the senses together. So on the cinematography and camera work side, I really enjoyed it. The production side as well, I thought it was great. It showed the slums of, I can't remember the Indian city that they were in, but the Indian city, you could really feel as if it was in the slums. And then in the rich area, you could really feel that it was like really super modernized to what you've seen before. And then you go to like this holy, I don't even know what it is. It's like a holy temple village. Thing,
bit of both.
And you could feel that place was really sacred as well. So each those are the three main locations, and each location really fit the purpose. The slums, the rich, and the sacredness.
Yeah.
So I think the technical side is awesome. The score as well, I thought it was great. I don't know what the Indian drum is called, but it's like 2 drums and you can bang it, and they incorporated that into
Nice.
the score.
Very descriptive.
You're welcome. Well, what more do you want? It's 2 drums and you bang it.
You should
But
know
they
the
also-
instrument.
No, just because I'm Indian doesn't mean I'm an encyclopedia about India.
Oh.
But yeah, they incorporated that instrument into the score as well, and not only just in the score, but it also played a big part in his arc in certain scenes as well.
Yeah.
So I really liked the score in that. It wasn't so... Because with John Wick, it's so synthy, it's really heavily on the synth.
100%.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
And then you have the occasional classical here and there. With this, you got like stuff like R&B and hip-hop, you got Indian, you got that synth stuff as well, and then you also have, I wouldn't really say EDM, but like just musical pieces as well. That's completely different. So each scene felt really, really fresh.
Yeah, for sure. It's really a genre blend on the score, and I thought you're right. It just fit kind of what's happening in the moment and also the character's journey. I think it goes along nicely with that. It's not to the point where it kind of blows me away, or it's like it really elevates the material, but it perfectly complements it really well. The cinematography, you can feel the influences in this movie, and it's not just John Wick. I think John Wick's a really easy comparison, but stuff like The Raid and what's that?
Kind of mentioned one about the Old Boy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Old Boy, yeah, those kind of movies as well. I think they have, they really, play a part in this in terms of that influence that Dev Patel has brought to this. Just that kind of, trapped in one building or like going up the layers. That's very much like Old Boy. The Raid is very, claustrophobic in the sense of the location. But I think the thing that impressed me most, man, was, in the movie there's moments where action's going on and it's just pure action for like a really extended amount of time, man. And it does not let you go. Like, I was on the edge of my seat and I'm like, whoa, and it just kept getting more intense. It would not slow down. And I was like, man, that's not only great acting, it's just great directing to be able to keep you engaged as well. I thought the action was really, really creative. And I think it's hard to be creative in the action genre, but without giving too much away for people viewing this, did you like the creativity in some of the, kills and...
beat-ups, yes.
Yeah, because I don't want to spoil it, but... Yeah.
I did. It was really, really creative. There's one in regards to a stove, and that's all I'm going to say. You guys can just witness that yourself, but that was super creative, and I can't recall a film recently that did something like that with that. Like, this is a perfect example of someone using their surroundings to, help them fight, considering this guy had nothing but 2 knives in his fists.
Yeah.
These guys had guns, so you really get to see the creativity from the characters, and the action is what we all expect. It's John Wick-esque, crusade-esque, and I haven't seen Old Boy, so I can't comment on that.
Right.
But it brings together all these great action things, combines it to one, and then puts a spin on it as well to make it different. So
yeah,
it's awesome, and I do hope you get to see more types of these films, whether it's a Monkey Man 2 or something else, or another action film that Dev Patel wants to do. But I definitely would like him to stick in the action genre for now, because I think he's done such a great job in this that I'd want to see what other creative ways he can find to kill or injure someone. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I mean, my highlight in terms of a stunt involves a knife and someone's mouth. So yeah, there he is. He knows what I'm talking about. At the start of the movie, I don't know if you had this, but Dev Patel left a message to people in Australia watching it before the movie officially released in our premiere. And he said at the end of it, he's like, "Oh, good luck." Then my girlfriend turns to me, she's like, "What do we need luck for?" And then during the movie, people are walking out, man. It's that gruesome. And then at the end of the movie, I turned to my girlfriend and I'm like, that's why we need luck, man. This movie is relentless in terms of brutality. And I'm not just talking about, blood and guts, but like, there's moments where you go back on this character's childhood trauma, man. And it still doesn't hold back. This movie is a heavy, heavy R rating.
100%.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on how gruesome and brutal this movie gets? Do you like that? And when it comes to this kind of action?
Yeah, it's good because I don't see that much nowadays because everything is watered down.
Watered down.
Those are the words I use.
Yeah,
use for
that's
this.
good.
It's watered down.
Yeah.
And no one likes a watered down drink, but yeah, I think it was great. It's not often you get to see pure gruesomeness and action and torture being shown on screen without being too unwatchable. You're watching it, you know what's happening, you could see it, and you're just like, oh, but you're not so engaged because of how emotional it is that you're just still watching it. So yeah, I think awesome.
Honestly, yeah, nah, man. There's so many times that movie I was just wincing, oh my god, this is so intense. Oh,
me too.
Yeah.
I think my main one came in near the second act before we got into the third act of what he did. Back in the past, I think that one was the one where I was just oh shit.
Well, you're covering what kind of happened in the backstory of it, right?
Yeah, and just his character seeing what happens is just oh fuck.
Yeah, man, it's brutal. Yeah, people were literally leaving my cinema. That's how bad it was. But I mean, I say bad, but I actually mean good. So yeah, to anyone who actually wants to see this movie, honestly, I would recommend it to anyone who is a fan of action. This is one of those really pure action movies. It's a ton of fun. It's bloody. It's gruesome. It's really got a lot of meaning behind it. There's some, a fun mythological element to it, and it's just got a little bit more culture and perhaps something different to what you've seen before when it comes to the action genre. So I'd really recommend it to anyone who loves action. Anyone who just wants a really fun time at the cinemas as well, I would choose this over something like Godzilla X Kong. Might be an unpopular opinion based on the box office results, but this is action. This is what I want to see in cinemas. This was so good. Dev Patel, welcome to the director's chair, man. He did so good. All right, Nam, before we cap it off, score out of 10. What are you going to give?
I'll give it a 7.8. The only thing that's holding me back from giving it an 8 is the main villain. He wasn't really fleshed out then enough, and as you touched upon before, the supporting cast didn't really get as much limelight as he did.
Yeah.
But I think if they can nail those elements, it would be great. But 7.8 for me.
Yeah. Now thinking of that, there are some characters where there's some open-endedness to those characters, which I don't know why they were really kind of opened or they started to be explored in any significant way without kind of capping off that character's arc. So yeah, I do agree in that sense. I'm actually going to go 7.6 for me, and I'll dial it back just a little bit from you because I did think the pacing and the structure was a little bit inexperienced. I could see that Dev Patel wasn't quite experienced with that, and that's just because the action is really so intense and then it grinds to a halt for a good while before it kind of ramps back up again. I'd just rather a little bit more consistency across the film to have a more engaged and invested experience from me. So yeah, that is basically our review for Monkey Man. We clearly both loved it. It is a great way to kick off April for us. I know this movie comes out in cinemas, at least for Australia and New Zealand, tomorrow and probably Friday for you Americans out there or the rest of the world. But definitely go see this one. Give Dev Patel the chance. He literally put his body on the line for this. Look at what I said at the start of the review, broken toes, hands, all that kind of stuff. You owe it to him to see this. It is really, really good. Otherwise, you guys know what to do. You can find us anywhere on social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. If you want to listen to our podcast instead of watching us, I understand. I get that. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you pod from. And we'll see you on, is it Friday we're doing our podcast, Nan? Is that the We're doing it
Yes,
Friday.
it is, because I've got Civil War tomorrow, which I'm super excited for.
Oh, yes. I'm very jealous. I get that next Tuesday. So, yeah, Nain is booked out tomorrow to see a good movie as well. But we'll bring that review to you guys as soon as we can. Nain might have to solo it. We'll have to see. But otherwise, we'll do our podcast on Thursday. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much for tuning into this review of Monkey Man. And if you do go see it, drop a comment down below or let us know some other way on how you felt about it. And we can have a discussion from them. Anyway, everyone, keep bringing the hype. Peace.
See ya.